Okay. Yo, TTV Slayer, what's up, dude? You have to hear quick as fuck, dog. My man's got the alert and was like, I'm on it. Let me grab my phone charger. All right. We're gonna start off with I'm gonna watch this video about Resident Evil that's coming out Friday because I already pre-ordered it and we're gonna be playing it. But then after that, we're going to do a little bit of Fallout Shelter, and then after that, swap to some Fallout 4. Let me get myself situated and such. Okay. Wait a sec. And then... Yo, what'd you say? I just got the notification. I literally just went live. I've been live for 1 minute and 37 seconds. And you've been in here for probably a minute. So, but all right, we're gonna watch this, and then, like I said, some Shelter, and then Fallout 4. I guess you won't be able to see the whole screen, unfortunately, or anything like that.
Resident Evil has never been afraid to experiment and take risks. It has swung back and forth between action and horror, switched perspectives several times between fixed cameras, first person, and third person.
Yeah, you can see a good amount.
With Resident Evil Requiem, the developers attempted to undertake a monumental task, crafting an experience that celebrates the franchise's history in all of its different forms, by melding together all of the things that it has succeeded at over the years. Happily enough, the game does that confidently, delivering an experience that boasts bone-chilling horror and heart-pounding action in equal measure. Having wrapped up the Winters family saga with Village, Resident Evil returns to the franchise's main overarching story with Requiem for the first time since Resident Evil 6, or Revelations 2 if you want to really get into the semantics, and does so with great effect. It shines the spotlight on two protagonists, Grace Ashcroft, a young, nervous technical analyst working for the FBI, and returning fan favorite Leon S. Kennedy, who is still working for the DSO and is more adept at kicking zombies and dropping corny one-liners than he has ever been. Swapping and weaving between the two, RE9 tells a captivating story that simultaneously serves as an excellent jumping-in point for newcomers through Grace and as a satisfying and long overdue return to the series' main story through Leon. Grace, the daughter of Resident Evil Outbreak protagonist Alyssa Ashcroft, is thrown into the fray when she is dispatched to investigate a grisly murder at the Wrenwood Hotel, which also happens to be where her mother was killed 8 years ago. It's not long before she has a horrifying run-in with Victor Gideon, a man with ties to the long-defunct Umbrella Corporation, who kidnaps her and takes her to the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. Leon, on his own investigation surrounding a mystery disease blowing through Raccoon City survivors, which he happens to have as well, arrives at the care center on Gideon's tail, and the story that follows may very well be one of Resident Evil's best ever. The game expertly balances being welcoming and accessible to newcomers, and being a proper follow-up to past entries. Beloved and iconic players and plotlines return, from Umbrella and the bombing of Raccoon City to the T-Virus, and more that are best left unspoiled, and push the overarching narrative forward in meaningful ways. Not only does Requiem pull in familiar elements from a number of past entries that longtime fans will be ecstatic to see, it also builds on them with surprising revelations and bold turns, taking things forward in significant ways, so that it almost never feels like just vapid fan service. Also at the core of the game's narrative strengths is an excellent cast of characters, each of whom are smartly written and well performed, with the likes of Leon, Grace, and Gideon being particular highlights. In fact, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to call Gideon one of Resident Evil's most compelling antagonists. But as strong as Resident Evil Requiem's story and storytelling are, that is predictably not where the game's biggest strengths lie. The latest entry in the long-running franchise expertly combines the pure horror gameplay of the likes of Resident Evil. Gameplay of the likes of Resident Evil 2 and 7 with the more action-fueled design of Resident Evil Village. and delivers an impressive final product on both fronts, with
I would
some minor
argue the
stumbles here and
more
there.
like
The
action
Rhodes
pack
Hill
design in
Chronic
Resident
Care
Evil 4,
Center is easily among the
and
franchise's
that's what
best
Village is
ever
going
settings,
after.
and this is where the game delivers the classic survival horror experience
This does
that
look
Resident
sick.
Evil has been synonymous
Absolutely
with since
sick.
its inception. The Care Center boasts classic lock and key design, laden with puzzles and notes, maze-like paths and shortcuts to unlock, and of course, an overwhelming boatload of terrifying enemies. With the bulk of this section being played from Grace's perspective, Requiem is at its most horrifying best here, delivering tense atmosphere and scream-inducing horror. A lot of that is thanks to the extremely limited combat capabilities of Grace, with gameplay relying primarily on stealth and other ways of avoiding combat, and ammo, weapons, resources, upgrades, and
yeah,
even
that was a
inventory
grenade.
space constantly being in short supply. Incredibly, Requiem also manages to make zombies legitimately scary again. The undead roaming the halls of the care center are not the typical mindless, shambling zombies that we've been used to across Resident Evil and so much else beyond. No, the zombies that Grace encounters retain vestiges of their past human selves, and that reflects in their behavior. Some are sensitive to light, so they roam the halls, turning off any switches that they can find. There's a big, hulking brute who was formerly the care center's chef, so he thumps around with cleavers in his hands, looking for the next thing
Looks
that he's
sick.
going to butcher on his
Looks
bloody
spooky
table.
as fuck.
A former singer dressed in a flowing white dress shambles around while singing a haunting, howling melody, while a former cleaning lady still obsessively cleans a bathroom, while madly talking to herself about how filthy everything is. Not only do the zombies add massively to
Spooky.
Requiem's incredible atmosphere building,
Spooky.
they also have gameplay ramifications. Those that are sensitive to light can be dealt with by messing with the switches that you find. Well, when they work, that is. The spine-chilling singer has the ability to stun you with ear-piercing shrieks, so maintaining distance is best. The butcher is massive and can take a lot of punishment, but he likes to walk a specific path, so planning your routes is vital. In later sections played through Leon's perspective, some undead still wield and use machine guns. Through its reinvention of a concept as time-worn as zombies, Requiem not only adds immensely
I like
to the
the swapping
potency of its
between
horror,
third and first
it also
person.
throws an
Whoever's
interesting
aiming in this
wrench
clip
into the
kind
gameplay,
of sucks.
bringing in variety and encouraging players to fully immerse
I gotta
themselves
lie.
in their terrifying environment. In fact, enemy variety is easily one of Requiem's brightest highlights.
Oh, he's munching
Not
on
only
me.
are the zombies themselves varied in unique ways, beyond zombies, there's so much more that players have to deal with. A giant, howling baby who thrashes through corridors in pursuit of Grace, blister heads who, much like Crimson Heads from the Resident Evil 1 remake, are dead zombies who can unpredictably come back to life, unless you deal with their corpses before that. And of course, in true Resident Evil fashion, a variety of bosses. There's also a nightmarish new stalker enemy who pursues Grace for a large portion of the game, and is perhaps one of the series'
it's the
most
lady,
petrifying
Big Mama.
stalker foes to date, maybe even more so than Resident Evil 2's Mr. X. With the visage of a
I
horribly
hate
mutated
stalker enemies.
so-called
I really
shadow
do.
ghost,
I hate them so
she's
much.
highly sensitive to any sound Grace makes, and she can get the jump on her through holes in the ceiling, but also happens to be sensitive to certain lights. As you can probably tell, Requiem significantly enhances its horror with incredible use of light and darkness. More often than not, Grace finds herself in poorly lit areas where she has nothing but the dim glow from her flashlight or her lighter. Walking through the oppressive darkness always keeps you on the edge of your seat, not only because of how atmospheric
Real quick, have I seen the Ark Raiders update? I've seen bits and pieces of it. To be honest, I'm like never playing that game ever again. That game, okay. That game is really cool in certain ways that allow there to be like really unique, cool interactions with other people, right? Good or bad. Like you can either meet someone who's like cool and you guys buddy up and everything's fine, or you have some like funny interaction where you fight some person and they're like kind of talking shit to you or whatever. Or like I don't know. I feel like to me, in my opinion, the most fun in that game and the most unique moments in that game revolve around like the player interactions, whether it's actually PvP or friendly, whatever, you know. But I feel like that game doesn't actually, and this is my opinion, maybe I'm totally off, but it doesn't like to encourage that. It wants you to fight all this fucking PvE shit, and then it wants you to just be friendly with other raiders, and like I don't know. And to me, the developers want you to play the game in a very specific way, and I don't like that fundamentally for like any game. I want the developers make a cool game that has cool stuff in it, cool concepts, cool like mechanics, like like fun gameplay, and then if I find as the player find some little quirk that I can like use to my advantage that you weren't expecting, as long as it's not like nope. Am I still live on YouTube? I think I am. I think I'm still live on YouTube. Yeah, I am. Interesting. Okay, cool. That confuses me how Twitch can crash, but yet YouTube doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. Stream's good. Stream is being weird for it. But yeah, that's my feelings on Ark, to be honest. But back to watching the video real quick.
Atmospheric it feels, but also thanks to the actual gameplay significance that light and dark mechanics have in Requiem. One of the game's most terrifying sequences sees Grace navigating the care center's basement, where she has to find a way through darkened, claustrophobic corridors by slowly bringing the power back on. It feels like a proper ordeal, with zombies and the aforementioned shadow ghost often seeming like insurmountable obstacles, and probably stands as one of the best and most memorable content in the entire game. When Requiem switches to Leon, who has intermittent sequences throughout the game's first half before taking over as the primary protagonist in the second, the gameplay takes on a much more action-oriented style, echoing Resident Evil 5 in more ways than one. Leon carries his attaché case, which means he has access to a much larger inventory. He also carries, of course, a variety of powerful weapons, which can be upgraded, and also usually has access to much more ammo and resources, while also being able to acquire new weapons to add to his arsenal. He has far greater melee capabilities, from various attacks and parries with his hatchet to skull-smashing punches, roundhouse kicks, and more. He can pick up weapons dropped by zombies, as can the zombies themselves, mind you, allowing him to slaughter foes with pipes, cleavers, and even chainsaws. Sure enough, gameplay as Leon is significantly more action-driven than it is as Grace, where it evokes Resident Evil's greatest horror highs. Thankfully, it's almost just as effective. If you enjoyed the action gameplay of the likes of Resident Evil 5 and most of Village, Requiem's Leon sections will very much be to your taste. Combat
I don't get why he's saying
brutal, which is cranked up to 11 in many of the boss fights, and
froze
high-octane
again?
set-piece sequences later in the game, when Leon is at the forefront.
Nothing crashed.
Raccoon City
that time,
is another
so
one of Requiem's highlights.
everything
Leon
should be
returns
good.
to
Let me
the
know if it keeps
bombed-out
happening.
remains of the city nearly 30 years after it was destroyed, exploring its streets, ruins, and more. Exploring Raccoon City is an absolute delight, with interconnected paths and plenty
Wait. I wasn't paying attention. What did they just say?
game in many of the boss fights, and high-octane set
Wait, hold on.
and their unpredictable behavior and attacks keeps the action flowing and varied. It evokes all of the tense, adrenaline-fueled highs of past action-heavy RE titles, which is cranked up to 11 in many of the boss fights, and high-octane set-piece sequences later in the game, when Leon is at the forefront. Raccoon City is another one of Requiem's highlights. Leon returns to the bombed-out remains of the city nearly 30 years after it was destroyed, exploring its streets, ruins, and more. Exploring Raccoon City is an absolute delight, with interconnected paths and plenty of locked doors and obstacles lending themselves perfectly to the classic level design that the series is known for. Leon's return to Raccoon City also sees him coming across plenty of familiar sights and locations, including what's left of the RPD building, all of which goes hand in hand with plenty of surprises related to both narrative and gameplay that longtime fans in particular will appreciate, but also compelling nuances for the grizzled and battle-hardened Leon's characterization. If there is one issue that I have with Leon's sections in Resident Evil Requiem, it's that they focus a little too much on action elements. At this point, it goes without saying that the winner in Resident Evil's long-running push and pull between action and horror will always be subjective, based on each player's individual tastes. Now, I happen to fall in the camp that prefers the series' horror side, so as much as I did greatly enjoy Requiem's latter half, especially the time that you spend in Raccoon City, from a gameplay and design perspective, I found Grace's sections much more engaging. In fact, I'd say that RE9's final hour, or thereabouts as a whole, is relatively weaker compared to the spectacular highs of the rest of the game. Gameplay becomes a little too action-oriented for the majority of this section. The level design largely loses the layered and intricate level of the Care Center or Raccoon City, and progression becomes significantly less important, with gameplay feeling much more limited and prescribed than in the rest of the game. There are also some narrative stumbles that do leave some slight dents into the overall experience, though I obviously cannot go into more detail there. Don't get me wrong, Requiem is still a lot of fun to play, even when it's at its weakest, and all told, its story is still one of Resident Evil's strongest, but its final section does feel like a step down compared to the majority of that experience.
Yo, Shaolin Monk definitely I already did,
the series has often struggled with in the past.
But yeah,
now, back to the game's strengths. The camera perspective you choose while playing as Grace and Leon also have an impact on your gameplay experience. Combining Resident Evil's first and third-person halves, Requiem allows you to switch between the two freely, so you can play from both perspectives as both Leon and Grace. The developer recommends sticking to first-person as Grace and third-person as Leon, and after my 15-hour playthrough, I fully agree with that recommendation, given how well those perspectives enhance Grace and Leon's horror and action vibes spectacularly. It's also impressive just how much time and effort the developers poured into making RE9 a game that you can legitimately play from beginning to end, either in first or third person, without compromising the experience in any real way.
That is pretty sick.
This isn't like the clunky post-launch edition that was Resident Evil Village's third-person mode. Regardless of whether you're playing Requiem in first or third person, the game boasts immaculate polish, tight UI design, impressive animations, engaging gameplay, and breathtaking visuals. So yes, unsurprisingly, Requiem is an unequivocal visual showpiece. The developer has been known to show off the technical and visual prowess of the RE engine with the Resident Evil titles, and Requiem feels like another jaw-dropping step forward on that front. Incredible lighting, an obsessive level of attention to detail, gleefully disgusting blood, gore, and dismemberment mechanics, and impressive animations and performance capture come together to craft a visually stunning experience, unlike any other this franchise has delivered to date, which is truly saying something. Combined with spectacular audio design, RE9 stands as another impressive visual, artistic, and technical notch on the genre's belt. Resident Evil Requiem is an important entry in the franchise, and when all is said and done, it stands tall to the Herculean task that it undertakes. Releasing alongside the series' 30th anniversary, it serves as a worthy follow-up to the overarching Resident Evil story, which has been dormant for some time now, while also being both a meaningful step forward and a great introduction point for newcomers. It also successfully combines the best of Resident Evil's horrors and action peaks, delivering potent scares and pulse-pounding action with great aplomb, even with late-game stumbles. We'll see with time where it ranks among the series' best outings, but for now, I can confidently say that Resident Evil Requiem is yet another impressive high for this horror franchise.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Vault, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
I don't know, all of a sudden I just got like the sudden urge to like not actually play, to be honest. All of a sudden I'm like, do I really want to play? Like part of me's like I do, and the other part of me's like I kind of just want to chill. No. We play. Jesus Christ. He's found so much, it's ridiculous. For the gore revolver, that's cool. Don't sound like I hate him. Oh, from the calling the secret. Or like bringing him in. Yo, 420, cheers, Scanner Trap. Cheers, dog. Hold it. Let me sprinkle a little more of this bit. There's the agility of 12. Isn't that? Wait, what does upgrading him do? Actually. Oh, fuck. A dog! It's a dog! Oh, I meant to see his name back in the last. I need a bunch of really low level fuckers. Hold up. Let me get a bunch of level 1s. There we go. Why is it gonna take you 2 hours? Why is it only gonna take you 22 minutes? Oh, you must have done a bunch of this before, actually, now that I think about it. Why is it only gonna take you 21 minutes, though? That don't make no goddamn sense. Interesting. The water, are we not making enough water here? Is that what they're trying to tell me? Where's he at? Where's he at? Sam. Maybe that was him going away noise. I thought that was the... Because it makes a noise when he shows up, and then makes a noise when he leaves. Interesting. Interesting, I tell you. Alright. That was advanced. Okay, I guess not. Wait, what? Did I not literally just read one that was... Wait, 10 quests with a weapon? I swear to God, I just... Oh, no, that was for this. Never mind. I was about to say, I was like, what? How are these bitches still pregnant? Oh, they just got pregnant. Okay. I was about to be like, what? Oh, damn it. What's up? Sure. Dude. This is getting super annoying. Like, you fuckers can't handle this shit quick enough. It's also just dumb as fuck that this is a thing. That they can just decide that we're gonna leave the room we're in and we're gonna go to this other room now. It's fucking stupid. Oh my god. Dude, this is retarded. What is going on? It just ends after a while? That's hilarious. Dude, what is going on? Was there not a full 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You don't have a gun? Fucking kill them, please, before they get to another room. Okay, kick over, do the main vault. Oh, what? I don't have enough room because I don't have... Oh, fuck. This is about to get bad. So the person that just sent that big ass paragraph on the Twitch, because you're some bot. You a bot. A whole ass body bot. I don't need it. I ain't about it. You can fuck off with it. Fuck off with it. It's a dog. It's literally my buddy Eric's dog. +1 child specials. What the fuck's that mean? We're getting there, dude. Slowly but surely, dude. I think that's enough of that. I was gonna stay on and play some Fallout 4, but to be honest, I really just don't. I'm not feeling it right now. So I think we're just gonna call it. It's gonna be a super short stream, but deuces.